Clap shit, this that Crow interview. Come get it from the homies. Insane Crip, Hussein Gang. Yeah, all that. Yeah, all that. Yeah, you see, cuz. Exclusive. Yeah, cuz. Home babies. So, big homie, can you remember the first time you thought about like really being from Hoover? Like, what crossed your mind? What made you want to like step into that gang life like that?
You know, back in the 80s, you know, they had colors out. So they BB Bridges. So they basically choose the side we was gonna go up back then. You know, it was already quick environment. The colors made it even better. And I seen that in colors, man, cuts. Everybody wanted to get their grip on it. You know what I'm saying? And the homies was around, very like fascinated to me. You know what I'm saying? It appealed to me.
Yeah.
I seen more of a family unity in the community. And that was when I was like 10 years old, back in 1980 something.
And you was 10 at that time?
I was 10.
What about today? You still feel like it's still Hoover Street? I mean, I see like the big H star behind you. I see oranges all in the background and shit. So I see you still like extra'd out.
Real young homie. You all gotta represent where you come from. Growing home is a big part of my upbringing. So with that being said, you know, Hoover always been in my heart. You know, even though you mature, you know, you still represent where you come from, because I would be me today without Hoover Street.
Right.
So I think the Hoover will always be a part of my DNA.
Right.
My orange blood, you know?
Right. So what about your experiences with the other side? How you feel like, what's your view on guys on the other side? Like, for instance, the neighborhood party, rolling hundreds, down to the 40s, Harlem, you know, y'all ties and shit like that. How you feel about the cats down the street and up the way?
It's like this, bro. Unfortunately, not even unfortunately, they enemies. But throughout my journey, bro, throughout the game, I just trying to make some interesting dudes on both sides. You know, even though I feel everybody had a turn. You know, at this point, everybody want to be a neighborhood or all. But, you know, you got real solid niggas that want to be hoopers. You know what I'm saying? We ain't going nowhere. You know, but we stay solid. It's some solid dudes from anywhere. You know, but now I think it's just a fad, and everybody want to be neighborhood or 40s or 60s. You know what I'm saying? We go with numbers, we go with quality.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I know some cool dudes, man, on that side. I know some dudes that, you know, got the knuckle sandwich in there, you know?
Yeah.
So,
what could you say about the rap industry today? About these dudes putting on that image that they sliding or they gang banging, and they talk about all that drill music.
Man, look, check it out. All these rap dudes that's rapping about our lifestyle, they're not living it. How the fuck they rapping about our lifestyle when they're not in the situation that I'm in? I'm in prison doing a life sentence.
Yeah.
It's gang banging shit. You know, so how you gonna rap about a lifestyle that you ain't put in no work? Put in some work, get some niggas some lawyers to assist their legal endeavors, you know what I'm saying?
Straight up.
Making music, we support this music by full value. We buy these CDs, these tapes, you know what I'm saying? But we don't got the support from the celebrities.
Yeah.
I feel that, you know, dudes that's out there making the money, bro, don't forget
And pardon me, because I showed you the shelves and everything you got going on in here, because, you know, obviously you got support coming from somewhere. Is it from the Hoovers?
Look, bro, my support comes from me. I support myself. You know, see, hustle. The homies do look out when I do call them on time me. You know what I'm saying? I can't just shit on the homies and they don't do nothing. They have done something. But most importantly, I'm self-sufficient. You know, me and the people that's in my life.
Right.
So, I mean, that's how I keep things going.
Right. Yeah, so I had the privilege of being on the yard with you at a 180 structure that's on, and seeing you program and shit is an honor, because it's like I was able to kind of see how you real life put your stamp on it. And a lot of these cats be faking and shit on the yard like they tough and shit like that, you know what I mean? You see all type of shit, you know, from these phony ass cats that act like they active, But you know, when you really talk to somebody that's really active and really gang banging and been gang banging through and through, it's a pleasure. But when you see how your conduct is and how you hold yourself in a cell, how you do what you do, it goes more into just describing yourself. Like, and I just want to know, how do you feel about people portraying you and then coming to this part of the game and not being able to withhold themselves amongst other inmates?
You know, it's interesting that you say that because, you know, being in here, men take a special dude, man. You know, it's a lot of men in here, you know, that stump down. You know, I promise to, you know, a lot of dudes in here. But then there's some dudes that come here, but they don't have the nuts. They don't let their nuts drag them around. And they come in here, they bitch up, they go to the assisted needs yard, and then get back in the community and do the same old thing. How the fuck, you know, do we tolerate or, you know, honor a person that, you know, do things on the street when they come in here, they can't handle the pressure. So
Right.
I feel that dudes that come here, man, that don't, you know, keep it solid, man, should be honored in no way or even recognized.
So you saying if one of your members caught a body and he was solid and he put in work on behalf of the turf, if he came to prison and marked out the game and went to a sensitive need yard, you're saying that you no longer will view him as one of your homies?
Any dude that put in work, bro, for the gang or any support of the tribe, bro, don't play by the rules, has forfeited his position, any recognition. His trophies is no longer. His bronze is brass.
Right.
So if you don't respect the rules that's been set for your comrades, your community, how could you be held with upstandings? You know?
Right.
So anything a person has done outside of the rules is void, bro. It's not honored.
So no 50-50 yards, no straddling the fence whatsoever on your in your opinion.
Man, look, nowadays, you know, they're trying to implement these 50-50 yards and whatnot. I mean, it's like this, bro. If you're gonna stay solid, stay solid. They tricking people out of their position with these 50-50 yards, and you know, you gotta know the tricks of the female system. You know what I'm saying? Don't get caught in the trick bag. So therefore, 50-50 yards or programming with people that's child molesters or rapists or, you know, see these creeps. No, we ain't doing that. But then there's gonna be a time to where we have to stick among ourselves, the real be with the real. You know what I'm saying? That the other dudes be over there. Because
Right.
the way they're making it is kind of impossible to shake the whole to 50-50. You know how they doing it. So it depends on your conduct. But willingly going over there, no. I wouldn't suggest that. I would suggest you stick it down, stick it to the real solid soldiers that's on the line. Things gonna open up. Stay strong and stay steadfast.
So how do you go about protecting yourself? You got security measures? Do you go out to the yard? Is it one of them things where it's plastic in the day room, or you know, metal in the day room and plastic on the yard?
Look, bro, I don't suggest plastic in no time. Go prison yard. You know, you stay on point, you listen to the tear cuz, you know what I'm saying? You know, you stay vigilant, you know, keep your back towards those you trust, which is only a few. Stick to the lows, you know what I'm saying? And, stay on point, you know what I'm saying? Full metal jacket, you know what time it is.
Yeah, on Hussein. All right. Another question I got for you, right? So, how do you feel about the advancement of your gang? Do you have any positive things for the children, for the youth? Do you have anything to say, whether it's stay out of the game, or if you're going to get into the game, go all the way in, or advance the game if you get into the game?
This is my message to the youth, man. The way things are today, I wouldn't suggest entering into a game, especially at those 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and on beyond. If you ain't doing this shit as a youth, stay out the game, man. If you do get in the game, do it right. Know the rules. That's the first thing. Know the rules. Once you know the rules, you can't go wrong. A lot of people make mistakes. The first rule is don't talk to the police. Don't open your mouth. Protect your code of silence. Stay loyal to your tribe. You know, and for the girls that join the game, check this out. If you join the game, you say you represent something, you abide by the rules that's being set in that community, under that congregation, under that organization. So,
Right.
dial 911 because you get slapped is out.
Right.
All that shit is out.
Right.
You got homies, you got a motherfucking brick, you got guns, you got knives. Crack that nigga upside his head. Don't call 911. They put the police in your business. They can put you in jail, take your kid, you home alone. Now you been under CPS, so stay solid.
Right.
And, you know, the girls that don't have a record, we do need y'all. We need y'all to be paramedics, police officers, young homies, don't got no case, don't got no record. Be police officers. You know what I'm saying? Be lawyers. We need y'all. You know what I'm saying? Be some of yourself. You don't have a criminal record, don't get one. You know where you from. We know where you from. You don't have to prove where you from. We know where you from. We know who's who. Infiltrate the system.
All right. Let me ask you another question. So, what about these podcast shows, the social media cloud chasing? What about the PCs being on other yards and having platforms to speak about politics and gang shit as if they was active? What about people that you feel like shouldn't have a say in gang affairs, interrupting and disrupting the conduct of which the structure should remain?
These dudes that's on these podcasts, man, they doing it for financial gains, recognition. So we have to look at these dudes because everybody pay a position. All information is valuable. So even though these dudes are on these PC yards, we gotta look at these dudes as information purposes only. These dudes are crutches. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta take things they say that have value, because everything they say ain't true. We know what's going on. We on the main line. How much on PC gonna say what's going on the main line?
Right.
We're real troopers.
Right.
So therefore, get your facts straight. Because first of all, because a lot of these podcasts, man, they popping. They pop all these fictitious ass shit just to make themselves seem tough, seem bad, it seem like they in the general population. When in reality, they're not. So
Right.
I would be careful of the information that you get off social media. You know what I'm saying? So take it as some of this shit is entertainment.
Right.
Podcast dudes are characters. That's what they are, characters, actors.
So I peeped that you got some homies that got a podcast show, and they got they things going on in their endeavors. I ain't gonna say no names. So do you feel like at some point they're setting themselves up for failure for talking about gang things on their podcast shows? Do you think that it should be a line separated from speaking about politics versus like American politics or global politics? So the world talks about politics every day, but for a gang to talk about street politics is a whole different thing. You know, street politics can come back and get you killed. Global politics can put your whole country in a war, but you have several people that clear these things and different networks that control these things from spreading and propaganda from going out there. What do you guys do to spread propaganda within your hood?
Well, first of all, the homie do have a podcast, you know, Under the Groove podcast. Homie Bub doing his thing. He's very intelligent. He's very educated. He articulates himself very well. One thing about the information that the homie put out there is nothing new. There's nothing new to the public. The things you talk about is the history or things that's already spoke about in books or, you know, public information.
Yeah.
And what you put out is how you put it out. It's like an urban book. Everybody say the same story, but who's tells the best story? So it ain't like he's saying
Right.
Now, some of them dudes that do put things out there, just so like futuristic things and cases, we don't do that on Hoop Street.
Right.
We talk about history, you know what I'm saying, the history of people that's part of this organization, the successes and downfalls of these individuals. So it ain't like we put nothing that could jeopardize a person's case or jeopardize their life. Because,
Right.
you know, we play by a whole different set of rules. You already know, you know what I'm saying? EBK, everything.
Everything.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, the homie have to come correct. And I think he's doing a very good job. And I give shouts out to the homie, man, because he keeping them on the lines of professionalism, and he know the kind of content he put out there, it won't jeopardize anyone that's part of this organization.
All right, so what about the do's and the don'ts? Do you feel like if a person on a podcast show came on a podcast show and this the opposite game, do you feel like if they just said that in a conversational accident, do you feel like they should stand on what they saying, or do you feel like they should get a pass because they didn't mean it like that?
Well,
they just talking.
It's like this, you know, I seen that happen. You know, one of the homies out of Long Beach, you know what I'm saying, did that accidentally, unintentionally. But I think, man, when you come maturity and you reach a certain status, sometimes you have to leave the bullshit to the bullshit and grown man shit to grown man shit. You know what I'm saying? So if it wasn't intentional, derogatory this, I think it's in a person, you know, called it like my bad or whatever it's gonna be. I don't think it should be no repercussion behind it. I think it should be understood that look, we on two levels when the person that trip off of that. So I think it should be looked at as okay, man, you know, it's a mishap. But in the same token, off record, we're gonna address that issue.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But on public, we're gonna keep it professional for the public, for the media. But you know, when we get on our grown man, bro, I just, you know, I need that addressed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, straight up.
It ain't for everybody. It's for us. We know what's going on.
Yeah, because I done been in some incidents like that, and I've been in the county and shit, and you know, breaking those, you know, coming in there just wild and tripping, gang banging and shit, you feel me? Pushing my old killer line and all that, you feel me? And I didn't run across some cool dudes at the same time that I might have squabbled with, might have not squabbled them. They might have said something and they might have heard it and been like, oh, you said what? But I always stood on that. So I was asking your opinion because it's like sometimes you'll fuck up and be like, yeah, I said it, I did that, and what? You know what it is, you feel me?
As you should though. You can stand on business, stand on it. You know what I'm saying? We out here, we living a lifestyle. Don't tuck your nuts now. I said it. Okay. The world heard it. It's how you gonna, what you gonna do about it? How you gonna proceed with it? I'm stumped down, you stumped down, how you wanna proceed? We get it or we don't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not on the receiving end, I'm the giver. So therefore I don't feel the same. Now if you say something else to disrespect me, I'm gonna handle how I handle it. And it is what it is.
It is, yeah.
So however you handle it is how you handle it. Hey, each stay on, you know.
Yeah. Hey, that's gonna wrap up my questions, man. I appreciate you, big homie. You a real one.
Yeah.
You feel me? Straight like that. We on the 180 yard and swing. You feel me? I see you hold it down every day, nigga, on the yard with no motherfucking plastic.
No plastic.